You're listening to the Dibbly Dobbly podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Let's talk about Sri Lanka and talk about their chances of winning the World Cup in 2023 and talk about their squad and what their players can do in order to achieve that goal of winning the World Cup in 2023. Their captain is Dasun Shanaka. They've won one World Cup title, Sri Lanka, and that was back in 1996, the famous win against Australia. The squad that they've selected for this World Cup is Shanaka, Kusu Mendes, Kusu Pereira, Nisanka, Kururakna, Samra Rakamaria, Asalanka, De Silva, Hepamara, Tikshana, Weligay, Rajata, Patirana, Kumra, and Mashashanaka. And that's the squad that the Sri Lankan team have selected for this World Cup in India. Sri Lanka did well in the recent Cricket World Cup qualifiers to qualify for the World Cup, and for Sri Lanka it was going to be a difficult qualification for them for this World Cup. They had to go through the qualifiers in Zimbabwe, which no one wants to go through in terms of qualifying for a World Cup. You want to qualify automatically. But for Sri Lanka, they had to go through the qualifiers. They missed off the cutoff for the World Cup to qualify automatically. And it just showed where they were playing and their sort of form in one-day cricket, obviously. But since Dasun Shanaka has come in as captain, he's really turned things around with the Sri Lankan team. And during the World Cup qualifiers, they played really well. They played some very good, exciting cricket. They qualified easily for the World Cup in the qualifiers. They performed really well. And they played some very good cricket, which will definitely boost their confidence going into this World Cup. But for Sri Lanka, their confidence has taken a little bit of a dip going into this World Cup. They've got a few injury concerns, obviously, in the squad, which doesn't help. Also, losing Hasaranga is a big blow for Sri Lanka. You know, Hasaranga's a match winner. He can score runs with the bat, but he can also take wickets. And he's definitely a match winner for Sri Lanka. So for Sri Lanka, not having him in the squad is a big blow. And it's really going to be a bit of a challenging sort of thing for Sri Lanka to try and work out in this World Cup, is how do we try and fill the gap left by Hasaranga. That's always going to be a difficult thing to do because a replacement player can't really replace the skills that Hasaranga has. So that's going to be a challenge for them. Also, in the Asia Cup, recently they played in the final against India and they got bowled out for 50-odd and they didn't really perform well on that day. I suppose all teams have an off day, and Sri Lanka had an off day in the final against India in the Asia Cup. If they play like that in the World Cup, then they're going to have some problems and they're going to struggle. But hopefully they don't have one of those days in the World Cup. But they got to really start, looking at the areas of improvement with both bat and ball and seeing what they can do to try and stop that from happening again. So you can't write them off. Sri Lanka are always a good team. They always punch above their weight. They're a small cricketing nation which play the game with a lot of passion and they love cricket. And they give it their all and they try their best 100% all the time. And that's what you're going to get from Sri Lanka. They're going to be competitive. Yes, they are going to have challenges in this World Cup. They're going to have some setbacks, but that will only make you stronger as a cricket team. And for Sri Lanka, if we go back to their World Cup win in 1996, no one gave them a chance to win that World Cup in 1996. But they did. They won. They proved everyone wrong, and they won the World Cup. Arjuna Rungatunga, as captain, led the side to a very inspiring win and victory in that World Cup in 1996. Can Dushan Shanaka do that in 2023? Well, himself, the captain, Dushan Shanaka, he's not in good form either. He's not really producing with bat and ball. He's in a bit of a form slump, so he will need to try and get back to his best in this World Cup if Sri Lanka are going to have a good World Cup campaign. But they've got some good players. And they've got talented players, with the bat and with the ball. Kusum Mendes, we know what he can do. Nisanka, he's good as well with the bat. Dimith Kururakna, he's been around for ages. Danajaya De Silva is pretee good. Their bowling is capable of taking wickets. You've got Tikshana, who's going to be very dangerous with his spin. And you've got other bowlers who can take wickets and support him. So they've got the talent, they've got the skill, Sri Lanka. It's all about just trying to put it all together and be consistent and also try and rally each other. I think that's going to be important for Sri Lanka in this World Cup. But you can't write them off. They're going to be competitive. They've got some talented players, Sri Lanka. Let's see what the Sri Lankan team can do in this World Cup. Despite the challenges, despite the setbacks, despite the injuries, they've played some good cricket. They played some good cricket in the qualifiers. That will give them some confidence. They've got exciting players. Let's see what the Sri Lankan team can do in this World Cup, because I think they may surprise us, and who knows, they may do some great things. The Dibbly Dobbly podcast has you covered for the ICC Cricket World Cup for 2023. We will be providing previews, reviews of the tournament, plus live streams and watch-alongs of all Australia's ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 matches. Any selected matches throughout the tournament, semi-finals and final. Also, we will be providing match reviews of all Australia's ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 matches, plus semi-finals and final. Make sure you subscribe to the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast YouTube channel so you don't miss out on all of our ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 coverage.